you started off creating what we call a thick report. So basically a Power BI file which contains a report and a data model. And you've decided, well, actually, you want to split it. You want to go a more mature approach. You want to have a separate data set, and you want to be able to publish your report separately. So I just wanted to show with my standard example, which is the AdventureWorks 2020 pbi-tools file, which I've made available in this public repo in such a way that you can actually clone the repo and recreate the pbi-tools file for that directly, straight from sources. I've got that one prepared in here. So that's that exact same repo. If you just go to the README file and literally copy paste this line and run it, you're going to get a pbi-tools file containing the AdventureWorks dataset. So basically, this is a thick report. We've got data. We've got there we go. We've got a model. We've got various tables. There is a report here. Arguably, it's just a bit lame and it's just a single page, but it still is a report. So I'm going to save that as a proper pbi-tools file in the same folder. I'm going to call that report. Here we go. And here we go. That's it. That's my pbi-tools file. Now let's extract that one. pbi-tools extract reported pbi-tools. As simple as that. Just going to take a few seconds, and then we'll have a new subfolder where we can see what's in that file. And there we go. That's it. So this is new. We've got a model in here, and we've got a report. This is basically how we can see very nicely that that's a thick report. Let's deploy that one and into my Power BI tenant, because that's something we'll need to do in order to separate that. We obviously need to have the report, the data set in place already, so that we can then connect to it with a separate thin report. And there are actually various ways of deploying that. In fact, you can even use pbi-tools for deployment. So this is something I've prepared already. I created a model deployment manifest, which basically grabs the only pbi-tools file in my folder, and it deploys it to this workspace. It also sets the name explicitly. Quite important, when you specify display name, you always have to specify the .pbix extension. That's a bit of a weird crock, but that's what the Power BI API expects. And it will automatically strip the extension, and it will actually name the dataset just the piece before .pbix. However, if you don't specify it, it will fail. So it's a bit of a weird one, but something you just have to be aware of. And this one here is also quite interesting. I specified skip report true. So this is actually an internal option which the Power BI API provides, and which you can't access in any other way. That means it will upload the pbi-tools file to create a dataset for us, but it will not create a report. It will literally just create a dataset. So this is a very good first step for us. Let's do pbi-tools deploy .model. I always run what if before going all the way with my deployment, because that's a very good way for me to test, one, my credentials are correct, and 2, I haven't made any mistakes in actually specifying the path expressions here. So what am I getting? So it says it found one file, which happens to be this one, report.pbx. That's the one I want to send. It will create it using this name, and it will actually create it in this particular workspace. So if I rerun this without what if, it will then upload the pbx file without creating a report. I will end up just with a data set. There is a bug currently which is going to hit us right now. I'm already fully aware what that does. It's ironically, it's a bug in logging. So basically, the deployment succeeded. However, the log message caused it to fail. That's going to be fixed very soon in the next release. Nonetheless, if I go to my workspace now, which is this one, and if I refresh, we will see we actually have the data set here. There we go. And so that gives me my remote data set. We can also see there's no report here, right? So literally just that. If I then go and create a new Power BI report, that will be the template for my thin report. And I will just create a remote connection here to my new data set, and we'll do nothing else with it. So here we go. I'll do get data. I do Power BI data set when it lets me. Here we go. Power BI data set, connect, and then I find AdventureWorks. Demo 2022. So that's the one I've just created. And that gives me an empty thin report. We can see down here, connected live. I save that one and call that empty or anything really. And that's it. So if I now go back, I've got another PBX file here, which I can extract. In fact, I'm just gonna rename this one here, if that's okay. So let's call this model, and let's call this one report. If that's no, I can't obviously. Empty. So if I then do pbi-tools extract empty, what am I getting here? I'm getting a new folder containing all the sources from that empty report. It does not have a model in it, as we can see, just report. But what it does have is this connections.json. So this is basically the file specifying my connection information. So I've got the GUID for my data set here. There's also an internal ID, and everything else is pretty standard. So this is basically my data set reference. And what I can do now, I can go here and let me clone this one, copy, paste. Is that gonna work? There we go. I've got a model copy. I call that one report. I remove the model from it, literally like this. Delete. And then I take my connections file, copy, paste. There we go. And that's what I need. What's now happened is I've got the report definition for my original thick report with the one-page code introduction. Obviously, it could be any number of pages here. I no longer have my model in here, but what I do have is my connections file. And I could now go and compile that into a PBX file and open it in Power BI Desktop. Or what I can also do, I can again use the deployment capability of pbi-tools, because I've got a second deployment manifest in here, which I called report. And that one will take the sources from the report folder and it will deploy it into the same workspace. And since I'm not specifying a display name here, it will basically just take the folder name as the display name for it. So if I now run this one, and let's go back here. So basically, instead of model, I do report. Let's just double check that everything works. Again, found one source, that's expected. The source is in my report subfolder. The display name generated will be report.pbx, and it goes into this particular workspace. So if I rerun this without what if, it will basically compile the PBX file automatically behind the scenes. I don't have to do it explicitly. And then, as we can see, it's uploaded it. There's no bug this time. The bug only appears when you deploy it without the report. Now going back into my workspace, there we go. There's my report. And opening it gives me my landing page. And I can see if when going to lineage view, where are you hiding? Here. Going to lineage view, I can see that this is in fact a report linked to this data set. So just to recap very quickly, started off with the thick report, which contains model and report. I deployed it into my workspace, skipping the report. So that created a data set in my Power BI workspace. I then created an empty report in Power BI Desktop connecting to my new data set. I grabbed the connection information from that one, which is this. I removed the model folder, the entire model folder, retained the report folder, and ended up deploying this one as my new thin report. And that's the demo done.